Hi, I'm Garrett, 37, and last month my mom told me to stay away from their anniversary because I was the family failure. After I'd already paid for all of it. She texted me that like it was a dinner RSVP. No explanation. Just, stay away from the anniversary. You're the family failure. And here's the kicker, I'd already covered $8,200 in deposits. Venue caterer, open bar, flowers, even Rachel's vision board dress rehearsal. My sister snorted on the family group chat right after. You're lucky we even used your money, I whispered. Great. To no one in particular. Then I opened my laptop and burned the whole thing down. Digitally at first. But let's back up for a second. Because this wasn't just one event gone wrong. This was 9 years of being the financial backbone for a family who acted like I was just the weird mole-faced relative they tolerated in group photos. I live in Portland, 1-bedroom apartment, quiet, good view. I work in logistics, VP of operations now. 6 figures. Could have bought a house, gone on vacations, maybe even dated someone longer than 6 months. But no. Because every month, I bled money into that family. Medical bills for my dad. A new car for my mom. Rachel's endless emergencies. Moving to Seattle, failing 2 startups, drowning in credit card debt. I covered all of it. $847,000. Not an estimate. I did the math later. And what did I get in return? Birthday cards that arrived late, or not at all. No visits. No congratulations when I got promoted. No seat at the Thanksgiving table because Rachel wanted to try a restaurant. That year. The anniversary planning started 3 months ago. My mom mentioned it in passing during one of her quarterly calls. Just something special for family, she said. And like the idiot I trained myself to be, I offered to help. Covered the deposit. Then the bar. Then the flowers. Then the everything. And then, the message. Stay away from the anniversary. You're the family failure. The thing is, it didn't even hurt. Not at first. It just confirmed something I already knew. I was only useful when I was invisible. So I started pulling every string. Cancelled the venue. Disputed the charges. Froze the auto transfers they hadn't even noticed were keeping their lights on. I sat there in my apartment, staring at my screen, watching the network collapse like I just pulled the wrong Jenga piece. And when the calls started, panicked, angry, confused, I didn't answer. I just opened a spreadsheet, labeled it Family Financial History, and started typing. Because if they wanted to know what I was worth, I'd show them. 1 cell at a time. By the time I hit row 147 in the spreadsheet, I was numb. Not sad. Not mad. Just efficient. Mortgage payments, $350 per month, 6 years straight. Total, $25,200. Utilities in my name, $340 per month. Water, gas, electric, internet. $36,720. Rachel's car lease, $520 per month. Total, $31,200. She called it the least you can do. Credit card minimums to keep their FICO scores from falling into the Mariana Trench, $890 per month. Another $96,000 gone. I highlighted every line item. Color-coded it like I was prepping a presentation for shareholders, except I was the only stakeholder, and all the dividends were emotional debt. Subscriptions? They had everything. Netflix, Hulu, Spotify Premium, even that bougie wine box my mom loved to Instagram even though she never tagged me. My name wasn't in the captions, just on the billing statements. And I never once said no. Not when they asked for $3,200 to fix the furnace, and then bought a hot tub. Not when Rachel needed help with student loans and then flew to Ibiza with her friends. Not even when my dad called me during my promotion dinner to ask for another $2,000 because the roof's leaking again. No congrats. Just, can you wire it now? I wired it. I always did. So when they told me I was the family failure, it didn't even register as betrayal. It felt like the punchline to a joke I'd been living for nearly a decade. I went down the list in my banking app and started deleting. Recurring payments. Mortgage, cancelled. Utilities, cancelled. Rachel's lease, cancelled. Family cell plan, that I wasn't on, cancelled. Instacart, cancelled. All the little digital leeches bleeding me dry? Cancelled. And still, I wasn't angry. I felt, still, like I'd finally stopped trying to keep a sinking ship afloat with duct tape and guilt. The next day at work, my phone buzzed nonstop. I ignored it. Janet from accounting poked her head in. You good? Your phone's been going off like crazy. I smiled. Yeah. Just family stuff. The missed calls kept piling up. 12 from my mom. 9 from Rachel. A bunch from unknown numbers, which I assumed were the caterer, the florist, the photographer, and maybe the angry cousin who was promised an open bar. Then the voicemails started. I listened to them like a critic at a film festival. Mom. Garrett, there must be some mistake with your bank. The venue just called. Rachel. What the hell did you do? The photographer backed out. Fix this now. Dad. Call your mother. I didn't call anyone. Instead, I left work at 5:30, got myself a good coffee and a blueberry scone, and sat outside watching the world spin without me holding it up for once. At 6 p.m., the system started crashing. Pacific Gas and Electric, service interruption scheduled. T-Mobile, autopay failed. Service interruption scheduled. Instacart, subscription cancelled due to non-payment. The lights were going out. Literally. And for the first time in 9 years, I didn't feel the urge to fix it. By 7:43 p.m., the knock came. 3 sharp bangs. Fast. Impatient. I didn't need a peephole to know who it was. I opened the door, and there she stood, Rachel. My sister. Hair thrown into a bun that said, I didn't come here to talk, I came here to fight. She pushed past me like this was still her house. This is serious, Garrett. She snapped. You've gone too far. I shut the door behind her calmly, leaned against it, and waited. You canceled the venue. She hissed. The caterer. The photographer. Do you have any idea what you've done? I didn't answer. Mom's crying. Dad's pacing. The guests were already arriving when they found out. People flew in, Garrett. This was supposed to be their moment. I walked past her to the kitchen, opened the microwave, and took out my lukewarm leftover lo mein. You're not mad I canceled, I said. You're mad I finally stopped paying. She rolled her eyes. Oh my God, is this about the text? Are you really that sensitive? I turned slowly. You mean the one where Mom said I was the family failure and told me to stay away? That text? She threw up her hands. It was one sentence. You don't just burn everything down over one sentence. Rachel, I said, setting my food down. Do you know how much money I've given this family in the last 9 years? I don't know. A lot? Who cares? You're doing fine. $847,000. She froze. I saw her mouth twitch like she was trying to pretend that wasn't a real number. That's not possible. I opened my laptop, turned it around, and showed her the spreadsheet. Every entry. Every date. Every charge, deposit, transfer, cosign, subscription. Color-coded. Documented. Receipts included. I don't keep score, I said, but I do keep records. She stared at the screen for a long moment. Then said something that made me genuinely laugh. Well, you chose to do all this. We never asked you to. You asked every single time, Rachel. The only thing you didn't do was thank me. She flinched like she'd been slapped. I kept going. Dad's truck? I co-signed and paid the loan. Mom's dental work? Me. Your lease? Me. The Europe trip you went on last summer? That was a girl's trip. You posted the receipt on your story. It was my credit card. The same one I used to pay for your student loans. She finally dropped onto the couch, face flushed. So what? You're just gonna let Mom and Dad lose the house? Let their lights get shut off. I leaned on the counter and stared at her. Rachel. I have been the lights. I've been the one behind the curtain making sure everyone's show goes on. And the second I asked to be treated like family, not just the wallet. You threw a tantrum. She cut in. No. I said. I set a boundary. That you all assumed I was too weak to ever set. Her voice rose again. You're punishing us because we didn't coddle your ego. I laughed. I'm not punishing anyone. I just stopped playing the part of the disposable son. There was a long silence. She looked around my small, neat apartment like it personally offended her. Then she muttered, You've always thought you were better than us. I've never thought that. I just thought I was enough. She stood up suddenly, grabbing her purse. You know what, when this blows up in your face, don't come crawling back. I opened the door for her. I won't. She left, slamming it hard enough that the hinges squealed. I waited until the vibration settled, then sat back down, took a bite of cold noodles, and realized something strange. For the first time in almost a decade, dinner didn't taste like guilt. It tasted like freedom. I couldn't sleep after Rachel left. Not from stress, hell no. From clarity. I'd never felt more awake. At 1:17 a.m., I sat at my kitchen table with a cup of stale coffee and reopened the laptop. The spreadsheet was already perfect. Too perfect. But I wasn't done. I needed a record. A real record. Something they couldn't twist or downplay or gaslight me out of later. So I created a new document. Title: Statement of Financial Support, Walker Family, 2014 to 2023. I started writing. Over a period of 9 years, I provided unreciprocated financial assistance to immediate family members totaling $847,000. This was given in good faith, without legal obligation, under the belief that family supports one another. What follows is a factual record. I broke it down by category by year. Mortgage support, $25,200. Utilities, $36,720. Rachel's lease, $31,200. Dad's truck loan, $28,800. Medical costs, covered $17,400. Credit card minimums, $96,120. Insurance, family only $99,360. Subscriptions, groceries, travel, dental, legal fees, $122,000. Miscellaneous cash transfers, $77,000. Anniversary event deposits, $8,200. Then I added screenshots. Of texts. Of emails. Of invoices and receipts and desperate voicemails begging for just one more thing. At 3 a.m., I uploaded the whole thing to a private Google Drive folder labeled simply, "For Attorney if needed." Then I did something bold. Something petty. Something cleansing. I sent it to one person. My Aunt Linda. The one relative who always quietly asked if I was doing okay. Who'd once pulled me aside at Thanksgiving after everyone forgot my birthday and whispered, "You're not crazy." I didn't even attach a message. Just sent the file. She'd know what to do with it. Then I shut the laptop, walked 2 blocks to the 24-hour diner, ordered scrambled eggs and hash browns, and stared out the window while an old couple played gin rummy in the booth behind me. I hadn't felt this light in years. The anniversary was scheduled for Saturday at 4 p.m. I woke up that morning 3 hours away in a sleepy beachfront town. No phone service. Just me, the sound of waves, and a bed and breakfast that had actual keys instead of swiped cards. At 2 o'clock, I sat on a sun-drenched patio with a ham sandwich and an iced coffee. The ocean sparkled like a screensaver. I opened my laptop, turned my phone off airplane mode, and watched chaos unfold in real time. First, the missed calls, like an avalanche. 17. 34. 41. By 2:47, I logged into the utility accounts one final time. Pacific Gas and Electric, service disconnection confirmed. Portland Water Bureau, service suspension initiated. Comcast, internet and cable disconnected. At 3:15, the phone buzzed so hard it slid across the table. "Mom, the lights just went out." "What is happening?" "Rachel, the venue's shutting everything down." "Fix this." "Dad, call me. Now." "Unknown number, this is Anderson Events. We've cancelled your booking due to reverse deposits." Another one, Blue Ribbon Catering has suspended all services. Final payment required before reinstatement. At 3:34, the venue mass emailed every guest. "We regret to inform you that today's event has been cancelled due to unforeseen circumstances. We apologize for any inconvenience." I scrolled down as guests started replying all. "Wait, what happened? Are the Walkers okay? Do we still meet at the restaurant? Did Garrett cancel it?" My phone buzzed like it was having a seizure. "Rachel, you did this. You ruined everything." Mom, voice message sobbing, unintelligible, broken. "Dad, this is beyond petty. It's criminal. We trusted you." I flipped the phone over. Sipped my coffee. Watched the sun drop behind a lazy sailboat drifting toward the horizon. Then came the cherry on top. At 4:23 p.m., a push notification from the mortgage lender. "Your account is 15 days overdue. Foreclosure proceedings may begin if unpaid." They hadn't noticed until now. Until the lights went out, the guests left, and the facade crumbled. Until the person they told to stay away turned out to be the only reason the party ever happened at all. By 5 p.m., I had 112 missed calls. I counted them slowly, methodically, as if each one was a candle on a birthday cake no one ever bought me. Mom, 34. Rachel, 29. Dad, 18. Unknowns, 31. And the voicemails, wow. If you ever want to hear a family unravel in real time, let your phone ring for 3 hours straight and say nothing. Dad, loud and shaking. "You crossed the line, son. This isn't funny." This is criminal. You want to hurt us? Fine. But you hurt your mother. You humiliated her. Rachel, nearly screaming. Everyone knows, Garrett. Everyone. People are talking. The pastor asked why the lights were off. Do you even understand what you've done? Mom, quietly sobbing. Please, Garrett. Just tell us what you want. People are leaving. Your father's just, please call me back. Then the business messages started. Unknown number. Mr. Walker, this is Prestige Photography. We're confirming cancellation of today's event. Your deposit is non-refundable per our contract. Another one. This is Riverside Manor. We need to discuss the damage to our venue's reputation. You'll be hearing from legal. I smiled, finished my sandwich, and tossed the crust to a pair of gulls. My iced coffee had melted into something watery and sweet. Still tasted better than anything I'd had at a family dinner in years. At 5:32 p.m., a new buzz. Text from a cousin I hadn't spoken to in a decade. Hey man, not sure what's going on, but Rachel's posting some wild stuff about you on Facebook. Thought you should know. I opened the app. I never do. But I did. Pin post. Fresh. Some people will do anything for attention. Even destroy their own family. My brother sabotaged our parents' 40th anniversary because his feelings got hurt. Pray for us. 347 reactions. 89 comments. I scrolled. So sorry, Rachel. Unbelievable. Stay strong. What kind of brother does that? You'll get through this. Family is everything. I almost closed it. But then, buried mid-thread, came something that made me pause. Aunt Linda. My mom's older sister. Interesting. I remember when Garrett paid off your student loans last year and your car. And helped with your mom's medical bills for 6 years straight. Maybe there's more to this story. 17 likes. Then another comment, from someone I didn't recognize. Wait, wasn't Garrett the one who paid for the whole event? I saw the credit card receipt at the venue last week. His name was all over it. 23 likes. The tide was turning. Slowly but turning. I shut the app and put the phone in my bag. The sun was low now, casting gold across the ocean like spilled paint. Families walked along the beach. Kids played tag with the waves. A couple nearby shared a milkshake and a secret. And I sat there, alone, for once not thinking that meant something was wrong. At 6:12 p.m., the final buzz came. My mom. Please, just tell us what you want. I stared at the screen for a moment. Then opened the messages. Typed a single line. I want you to understand what I was worth. I didn't wait for a reply. I blocked her. Then my dad. Then Rachel. Then every number I didn't recognize. Then I powered the phone off completely and slipped it into the bottom of my bag like it was radioactive. I paid the bill in cash and tipped well. Then I walked the beach barefoot until the sky turned from orange to lavender to black. No texts. No alarms. No responsibilities. No emergencies disguised as love. Just air. Just water. Just peace. I stayed on the coast for 5 more days. No laptop. No phone. Just long walks on sand that squeaked underfoot, and sleep so deep I'd wake up not remembering where I was. It wasn't a retreat. It wasn't some healing journey. It was just the first time in 9 years no one was siphoning my life out of me through a group chat. When I finally turned my phone back on, it needed 3 minutes just to boot. 340 messages. I didn't read most of them. Just scrolled. Let my thumb ride the waves of desperation. The arc was almost comical, panic to outrage to victimhood to silence. Day 12, I got the foreclosure notice. An automated email, CC'd to me as the previous autopay account holder. Final notice. Property at 2847 Maple Drive is scheduled for foreclosure proceedings effective April 30th unless full payment of $18,500 is received. That's 3 missed payments. Plus late fees. I forwarded it to a personal archive. Then deleted it. A few hours later, Rachel's Instagram went private. But not before I saw the final post. A photo of the family living room, half the furniture gone. When your own blood abandons you, you learn who your real family is. 43 comments. Mostly sympathy. But 2 or 3, scattered like matchsticks, were different. Didn't Garrett pay for everything though? I heard he was covering their mortgage. Maybe you should be asking why he walked away. I didn't comment. Didn't like. Didn't even screenshot. Just smiled and let it fade. Week 3, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I let it go to voicemail. It was Aunt Linda. Garrett, it's me. I'm not calling to scold you. I just... I wanted to let you know what's going on. Your mom and dad are living with Rachel now. The house is gone. The truck's been repossessed. Rachel's lease got terminated early. She's driving her rental now, barely. Your mom's working part-time at a Joann's or something. First job she's had in 2 decades. I didn't say anything. Just listened. They're telling everyone you had a breakdown. That you're unstable. That they're worried about you. She paused. For what it's worth, I believe you. I saw the receipts. The spreadsheet. I don't think you meant for anyone to see it, but it got around. A lot of people know the truth now. I exhaled. You okay? She asked softly. I answered honestly for the first time in years. I'm better than I've been in a long time. She let that hang. Then, that's all I needed to hear. Click. She never called again. And she didn't need to. A month after the anniversary that never happened, I signed a lease on a small apartment in Cannon Beach. 1 bedroom. Ocean view. 2 blocks from the best clam chowder I've ever had. I didn't make a big announcement. Just told HR at work to update my mailing address. My boss congratulated me on the move and asked if I'd be willing to lead a new project, something bigger. I said yes. 6 weeks later, I got promoted again. My team clapped. We had cupcakes. No one asked about my personal life. No one asked if I had kids, a wife, a sad backstory to justify my late-night Slack messages. They just let me exist. Which was exactly what I needed. I stopped checking my old email. Stopped wondering if they were okay. Stopped checking Facebook. I let their silence stretch into something peaceful. Then one evening in late May, an envelope arrived. Handwritten. No return address. Just my name. Inside, a single page. My mom's handwriting. Garrett, I don't expect you to forgive us. I don't think I'd forgive us either. But I wanted you to know that I finally understand. You weren't the failure. We were. We failed you every day. And we were too proud to see it. I'm sorry it took losing everything to realize what we lost. I hope you find peace. Love, Mom. I read it twice. Then I folded it carefully and slid it into a drawer. Not out of resentment. Not out of anger. But because I didn't need it anymore. 3 months after the collapse, I met someone. Her name was Claire. She worked at a small, local bookstore tucked between a cafe and a gallery, the kind of place that always smelled like paper and lemon tea. I wandered in one afternoon looking for something to read that wasn't about supply chains, finance, or surviving toxic family dynamics. She asked me what I liked. I said I didn't know anymore. She handed me a memoir about a man who walked away from everything, family, legacy, expectation, and built a life that made sense to no one but him. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't tragic. It was just honest. I bought the book. Then I asked if she wanted to get dinner sometime. She smiled and said, "Yeah. I'd like that." We didn't talk about family. Not hers. Not mine. She didn't know I'd recently detonated every connection I had to the people who raised me. She didn't know about the texts, the spreadsheets, the anniversary meltdown, or the house now in foreclosure. She just liked that I was kind and quiet and always wrote little notes in a pocket-sized notebook I carried everywhere. I liked that she never asked me to explain the silence I carried like armor. We had tacos on the beach. We got rained on during a hike and didn't complain. She showed me how to make proper French toast. I fixed her wobbly bookshelf. It was normal. Simple. Safe. One night, we sat on a piece of driftwood watching the sun bleed into the horizon, her hand in mine, and she asked softly, "Do you ever regret it?" She didn't need to explain. I knew what she meant. I let the question hang between us like smoke, let it settle in my lungs. I thought about the $847,000. The birthdays forgotten. The Thanksgiving no-shows. The text that called me the family failure, after 9 years of being their safety net. I thought about all the times I told myself it didn't hurt. And then I smiled. "No," I said. "I regret not doing it sooner." She didn't nod in pity. She just squeezed my hand gently, like she understood something I didn't need to say out loud. We sat there a while longer, the air cool but not cold, the waves rolling in like time itself was exhaling. I never reconnected with my parents. I never unblocked Rachel. They never showed up at my door, and I think they finally understood that the machine was off for good. That the Garrett they relied on, the giver, the fixer, the background ATM, was gone. And me? I kept going. I woke up when I wanted. Brewed strong coffee. Took long walks without checking my phone. I read for pleasure. I cooked meals that weren't designed to feed a dozen guests who wouldn't thank me. I built a life, quietly and fully, that no one could drain. Sometimes, the greatest freedom doesn't come from winning the fight. It comes from walking away from the ring. I never went back. And I never looked back. Because the view ahead was finally too beautiful to miss.